Hello everyone, it's Julie at Crafts Cute and welcome back to my channel and happy Sunday morning. I just want to show you what I've been working on today. I did take out my scan and cut, and inside they had some flower shapes in there, and this is what they look like. And I turn this into this flower shape, and then this will be going with this of the painting that I did with, it was a stamp, and I watercolored that in with some blue Zig brush pens, and they're made in Japan. And I didn't order it because it's made in Japan. I did a lot of research on what kind of water pens that I wanted to purchase, and I'll show you what those look like. Ooh, it's right here if you guys want to know. It's a Zig Clean Color real brush pen, real brush, 30 color set for like botanical and flower drawings, paintings. And currently I'm using this one, this light blue. It is called it's number 304 Aquamarine Blue, and I'm using that too. And this distress ink, I tried this one to see how well that would work, so I'm using all three because these two colors are fairly the same. What I've done with, if you see the outer edge, it's a little bit darker, so I use this to distress the edges, and then I use the water pen to blend in, and then I added some distress ink so it'll match the flowers here on this cover. If you could see that, let's see if we can, I can bring this up. See? And this I'm going to put along on the front corners here, right around here, and then I'm going to leave a little gap between these flowers. I still have to cut out the leaves just so she can tuck something in the front of her cover, but that's what it's going to look like. I'm going to have some flowers on her. Isn't that just precious? Everything matches. It's in the light blue. Woo. So that is this flower, and I'm going to quickly show you how to do it. If you have a Brother Scan and Cut, you can look. It already comes with these flower images, okay? And I'll show you what I've done. Let me move this over here. Okay, I guess I could just leave that for now. Okay. So the flower shapes come like this, okay? And then I take my scissor and I just, let me zoom you in for this. Ooh, my light is pretty bright, isn't it? It sure is. Okay, that's much better, I think. So on this background with the black, so you could see, and what I've done was I just kind of cut it in towards the middle. I went curved in this way, and then I'll curve it out this way, and then, oops, dropping it like usual. And then I'll go in the other direction, okay, and the other direction, and then come back in this direction. And I try to get the petals, oops, I can get it in here. Oh, I just nipped off a little piece, but that's okay. Let's see how I can get this to come in a little bit more in this angle. So I'm just cutting so that the petals are a little more distinct. Try and get it towards the center here. Okay. So this is, I use two medium ones. I'm going to do some large ones. And you know, if you're used to, if you have experience with a Brother Scan and Cut, you can increase the size or decrease it. And I decreased this to a 2-inch circumference flower. So I cut those. Let me cut these and get this ready. Oops. There, I think that's pretty good. Try and get that center in there a little bit closer into the middle. And then I use 2 medium ones, and then I am gonna cut these little petals. Just cut them out. Now in nature you'll see that the petals, except for an orchid, I think they're perfect, but a lot of these petals aren't. Okay, so we got these, and then I take this and I come in here and I just kind of like go around the edges like this to give it that, and I'm not being so specifically perfect, okay, because the colors on a flower aren't that perfect there. And I'm just gonna come in here and touch that up like this, and I'll do both sides. So I'm losing this in my hand like this. Turn it around, distress the edges, like this, and then put a little color back in here just randomly, and it'll all come out looking very pretty. Okay, so let me go ahead and do all of these and I'll be right back. Okay, now that I have them distressed with the blue, I'm going to come in here and tap this on my little block, stamping block. I'm going to get a little bit of water and I'll come in, get some of this, water down, and just kind of randomly put these on the edges. And I'm not being very perfect with this. Okay, there's one. Just getting it in there. Turning it over. Okay, there's that. Clean off my brush. And I'm just using any Walmart synthetic brush for this, because I won't use any of my really nice I won't use any of the nice paint brushes that I have. Those are for strictly for more of a refined work. Okay, so there's that. And then I'm going to take one petal and I'm going to spray it on both sides. Let's go ahead and get this sprayed up so the fibers of this flower can be all broken up. Okay, there we go. And then I'll just tap this off. And then I'm going to work kind of fast with my little thingamabobbers here, my flower shapers. So I'm going to, oops, that's a little wet in the center. Okay, and I'm not using the best, I mean, I'm using cardstock, but not those that you find in those other, like Heartfelt Creation. They have their specific, and then let me zoom you in so you can see the shape of this. Okay. And I'm just tapping with the smaller ball, and it's creating these little wrinkles. Okay, and then I'm gonna roll that up, and once this dries, once it dries, it gets, okay, I'm gonna press a little bit harder. And the pad that I'm using, it's not a flower pad per se. I found these are mouse pads from Walmart. They're like $2.48 for each one of them. I have two to create like a little more of a, and I'm pressing down pretty good to create those little crinkled, wrinkled edges in the flowers, if you can see. And then I'm going to bring these in. Going to bring it in over here. See, and when it's wet, they're easily to be manipulated, okay? Just a sprinkle. And then I'm going to turn it over, and then I'm going to push that in the center and then roll these, okay? I want a little more fold in those, just like that. And I'm just going to push these in the center to start getting those petals lifting up inward, okay? And as it dries, it'll harden. Okay, so there's one. And then here's the other. I'm going to take the smaller nib and then just start pressing. And you can see the little crinkles starting to form on these petals at the tip. So if you have what I was going to do was initially just draw them in and then cut them out, fussy cut them, but I thought, you know, let me see what the Brothers Scan Cut, because it's fairly new. Okay, I put it up since I got it messed up with trying to cut out some stickers, and so my husband had to help me clean it out, and so I had him take it down off the dresser here so I could start looking into making these flowers. Okay, so I'm curling them in. I'm just bringing the ball in like that, and they just naturally curl up because it's wet. So there's that one. Let me get this small one. I wonder if I have a smaller tip here. Nope. I guess this is my smallest one here, but it'll work. So I'm going right towards the edge and creating this little curly wrinkle, and this is gonna, the smaller one's gonna be the center of the flower. Okay, see how pretty that's coming along? I don't know if you guys can see the wrinkle crinkles, but just bring it, press it in, press it in, press it in. And I know what you're saying, Tracy, it's probably a lot on my fingers, but this pad helps out while I'm pressuring. It looks like I'm applying a lot of pressure, but I'm really not, because the paper is wet and it helps with shaping the flower. So I'm just bringing those in the center, creating like a center spine and bringing it in, and then I'm going to just turn it over. Do I like that inside? No, I want it on the outside. So I'm just going to bring the small tip in and just press that up like this, and then make sure I get those creases staying in. So I'm just going to pinch that off a little bit. Oops, don't straighten it out. My hands just slip right there. Okay, and so now I've got that little one, and then here I'm going to turn this over and just push this petal in. And we're nearly done with this flower. Okay, now what I'm going to do is put this one, when you put these together, you want to put the second petal facing in like this on top. You don't want to put them straight on top of each other, okay, because then it won't look like a real flower. Okay, and then if you see how it's coming along, then I'm going to put this one overlapping the other way. I'm going to just press this in. I'm going to bring it up, and I'm just going to start pinching the bottom here while it's still damp. It's not super wet, but it's wet enough because this paper is not so thick. And then here's that flower. So when I glue everything down, it's going to look similar to that. Okay, I could glue this in place, and let me just lean this up against here like so. Let me get my glue. I'm going to use some art glitter glue on this paper, and what I'm going to do, oops, got to recenter, reposition, because it moved. It's not supposed to sit on top of each other. See how it's sitting? Just like that. Oh, let me get some glue down on this. So I'm going to put that there and there. I'm just going to come in and show you guys. So if you want to do some papers, flowers, and then I'm going to position this right there. Get my little stylus, my flower stylus. Get that stuck. Get some glue in the center there. And bring, let me just put a little glue on these little petals on the inside. And then let me get my little flower and position it. Like, oops, like so. And then push that in. Hold it, hold it, hold it. And there you guys go. Let me see. Can you see that? In this lighting, I don't know why this light, let me see. See if I turn one off. Nope, that didn't help. Okay, I'm covering it. I'm covering it. So here are my two flowers. And so what I do is now, to deepen it with the blues, take my little stamp block, I'm going to put some watercolor, this blue, and this is the color that I used to paint the spine of my daughter's box here, with some water. Let's get some, let's go inside the center and get some blue. Darken it in there for some shading, because it's so close together, it's gonna, the center is gonna just look a bit darker. Okay, and then I just kind of put some, follow this color, let me get some more, along those little crease lines. This pen can't be out. I have not used much of it. Let's see, there we go. I'm just going to put a little more blue around the petals, just dotting it here and there, creating some shadow behind the petals, some shading. Can you see that? And then, let me see. I need to add a little bit under. I don't need to because they won't show up, but let me get some, tap some along here. See, I'm tapping it on these little cracks and crevices to bring in some veins in the petal. And then let me wash off this brush so it doesn't stain. Okay, and then I'll take this marker. I'm just going to use the very, very fine tip to come in and touch some of those little crinkle wrinkles and bringing it down in to create like some depth of the veins of the flower. And then touch it again with on the tip Do you guys see that? My lighting is so, I have to do something with my lighting. But I will take a picture, a close-up picture from my phone and then post it into the group. And then I'm just following it, just barely running this pen, this water pen, this water brush along the edge of the petal to give it some more definition. Not around the whole thing, but just in areas. Okay. I think that might be good enough right there. Okay. Then later on, once all of this is dry, what I will do is, let me clean off this first real quick, this pad. Okay. What I'm going to do is wait till it dries, and then later on today I am going to take my embossing pen, which is this here, and go around just some of the edges, and then I'm going to put sprinkle some ultra thick embossing powder, and then heat set it. That way it looks like there's water droppings on it. I'm not going to do it as much as I did with the fish. I'm just going to dot it here and there so it looks like it's been kissed with dew. Okay, so I have that done. Let me see if I can get these two, my hands side by side. Like so. See, they're already drying and they're stiffening up. See? Easy peasy, right? So, anyway, guys, I just wanted to show you what I've been doing because it took me a minute to cut out all of my little, well, it didn't take me a while. It just, I had to figure out how the settings and the size and how to, because I'm still fairly new at using my scan and cut. But, you know, Christmas is coming. Get it on your Christmas wish list, and it'll be worth it because there's so many other things that you can do with that. Look at that, how pretty, right? And that is going to get set up on this. Okay, since I've got two here, let's put this down. So imagine, whoops, let me scoot you out a bit. So imagine that I'm going to have some flowers, different sizes. I'm going to have little buds. I'm going to make some buds with, I'm going to go smaller than the smallest flower that I added in the center. And then I'm going to have probably a large flower. I don't know, because I don't want it to overwhelm but I'm going to have some green leaf, you know, some leaves coming through, just very faint and subtle, you know, something like that. Look how pretty that is. So it'll be something like that, you guys. How pretty, right? Let's see if we can get in closer to this. See how pretty that flower's going to lay? So I'm going to have one here of some leaves coming off. I'm going to have probably about 3 flowers. I think 5 would be too much. I'm not sure. I'll have like maybe 3 big flowers and a couple of buds, and then green leaf. Okay, so all right, you guys, that's what I've been doing. I hope you guys like this little project and get inspired to make some paper flowers, and wait till you see the finished product. Once I put some in triple thick embossing, it's just gonna, oh my goodness, it's gonna look amazing. It's gonna look wet on her. So that's my daughter's flowers. Yeah, guys, thank you for stopping by. Bye.